Good morning. Happy Monday, Memorial Day. It is Monday. We're on day 26. And I am extremely excited for two reasons. Number one, we're on day 26, and we have 5 more days to go for this challenge. So the challenge is over on Saturday, May the 31st, and we would have completed the 1 mile a day challenge. So for those of you that have been walking 1 mile, that means you would have walked 31 miles total for the month of May. And of course, I asked you to walk 1 mile, so I doubled that and did 2 miles a day. So that means I'm going to have 62 miles total for the month of May. So the good thing is that if you guys want to continue to walk after that, you'll be able to feel free to just continue to walk and carry along your journey. And so you will be absolutely finished. Now, like I said, I encourage you to continue to walk. You may not have time to walk every day, right? But I encourage you to walk during the week. Just continue to walk. Don't stop. Don't give up. Continue to fight. Fight for your health. Fight for your wellness, right? Fight for that competitive advantage. Continue to fight for that endurance. And just continue to fight. It's for you. And for me, the other great thing is that for me today, I can go back to eating. Yes, my 14-day juice cleanse it was over 11:59 p.m. on last night. So once that clock struck 12 a.m. on this morning, I could have ate, but I was in the bed. I was in the bed getting some rest. And so I got up on this morning. I still haven't eaten, right? So what I was doing is taking my after weight, and I did some before and after body shot a video to show what I look like after that the juice cleanse, right? So although since yesterday was my last day, this morning would have been the opportunity to get up and do the before and after, right? So I got the before on May the 11th, and the after came on this morning, May 26th, to show you that the weight that I lost. So let's talk about the weight that I lost, right? So I continued to wild juice and I continued to walk my 2 miles a day. Didn't stop that. Still had the energy to walk. And so when I weighed in on May the 11th, I weighed in at 195.2. That's when I weighed in on May the 11th. So on this morning, when I weighed in, got up this morning, weighed in, I weighed in at 180.8. So total weight loss was about 14.4 pounds. So that's a little over 14 and a half pounds that I lost, right? But it's 14.4 to be exact. So it's almost 14.5. So I'm pleased with the results, right? So it wasn't truly about the weight loss. What I was trying to do is kick the binge eating habits. I wasn't happy about the binge eating habits I was doing, right? I was eating a lot of junk, and I knew I needed to get that junk out of my system. And so, after I start eating today, I'm going to not eat junk for some time, probably a long time, right? Because you got to imagine, you've been on a 14-day juice-only fast, 14 days straight. Look, you don't want to put junk back in your body. Because after you realize how your body feels with just juice only and no junk, no meat, no nothing in your body, you realize, oh, my body can do certain things without food. My body can do certain things without meat. My body can do certain things without junk in my body. And let me tell you, that junk brings you to a crash. And so mentally, right? Mentally, I've seen this for 14 days straight and experienced the benefits of this juice, which I already knew the benefits, right? Because I was juicing since June 2024. But what I had not done, as you recall, I stated before, I had not juiced 14 days straight without no food. Never done that before. And so just, want to give that a call out. And I want to give a call out to the individual where I got the juice fast information from. I really want to give her a shout out because I saw on her channel what she was doing. She had done the juice fast, and I want to give her credit. Let me call her channel shortly here. I'm going to go to it, and I want to tell you guys about her channel. Her channel is, yes, Holistic Honey. So shout out to Holistic Honey because she has the 14-day juice fast on her channel. And let me tell you, I gave her a heads up when I was going to start, right? And the day that I started, I posted, and I kind of gave her updates throughout. And I gave her an update yesterday and let her know that was my last day. So she's supportive. So I want to, let you guys know she has a great channel. So if you want to follow her for content, definitely follow her for content, right? I follow a lot of YouTube creators, right? And I like to give my YouTube creators credit for whatever information I use from their channel. I don't like to take people's information. I'm not like that. I want to give people credit for whatever details or information that I took from their channel. And that's the type of individual I am. And you got to think from a school perspective, right? Whenever you're writing papers or any type of documentation, and if you use someone else's information, you want to give them credit. And so that's my philosophy. I don't have to steal. I don't have to take people's information. I have the talent and I have the ability where I can build my own information, build whatever I want to build without taking people's information. So because I'm gifted like that, I don't have to take other people's content or information. So Holistic Honey, dear, I appreciate you. I appreciate you and your family for this content, for the 14-day juice challenge. We appreciate you. And thank you very much for everything. So again, her channel is Holistic Honey, guys, if you want to give a shout out to her and follow her. Thank you once again, Holistic Honey. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to do a video or maybe a series of videos, but I want to kind of give you guys some details on how this 14-day juice challenge was, right? It's going to be important that you have the details, and it's going to be important that you juice right. That's going to be the key. And I'm going to give you how I juice right based on my experience, right? And I said, I got the challenge from Holistic Honey. And what I recall was watching one of her videos, and she was kind of talking about doing it when you do the 14-day challenge, you may want to, and I'm pretty sure I'm not quoting this verbatim, but this is the context I got from it, was that when you juice, you want to start out small and work your way up, right? And because I had over 10 years ago, I had done a 10-day green smoothie challenge, right? And I think the creator during that time, thinking her name is JJ, no, it was, but it's JJ. I just can't remember his JJ's last name. So I knew that if I had done that 10-day green smoothie challenge, right, where you just drank your smoothies for 10 days for fruits and vegetables, I knew that I could do Holistic Honey's 14-day juice challenge. So I already knew I had the willpower and endurance to do that. And plus, I was already juicing, right? So juicing wasn't not anything new to me. So I knew that it wasn't going to be detrimental or I had to force my way to do it because I was already drinking juice anyway. I just hadn't done it on a consistent basis without food. So I would encourage you, after I share the content on my experience with it, you can make that decision, talk to your doctor if you need so, talk to them, right? And let them know, what the outcome is or let them know what you're trying to do. Now, I want to tell you this. I don't know your doctor. I don't know how he or she is set up, right? Here's what I do know. Like I shared with you guys before, America is a capitalistic country, right? And anytime you have capitalism involved, some decisions are going to be made based off of capitalism. And I'm not saying your doctor is like this. There's some very good doctors out there. But I also respectfully tell you that there's also some doctors that are going to make decisions based on capitalism. They have cars, they have houses, they have things to pay for. And so if you go in there and tell your doctor, you want to do this juice challenge, right? And I would just go in and tell them, hey, I just want to, you might just want to tell them you want to lose some weight. Because if you're on high blood pressure medications and all this other stuff, you know, I'd be kind of reserved about that, right? Because again, your doctors are making money off of that money, off of the high blood pressure medication. Just make no mistake about it. There's kickbacks on that. So if you come off that medication, that's a loss of money, revenue stream for your doctor. I'm just being transparent with you. I mean, no harm, foul to any of the doctors out there. There's some good doctors, but I have to also be respectful and denote this capitalism too. So America's healthcare system is a lot of money. I mean, it's billions of dollars in this healthcare system. And anywhere you talk about taking money out of the system, that's a whole nother conversation by ourselves, family. So I just want to be transparent with you about that. So with that being said, right, you have to make that decision whether you going to take this green juice, excuse me, not this green juice, but this juice cleanse. Let me also denote, right, that I didn't talk to my healthcare provider, right? I'm not on any serious medication. It was a very low dosage blood pressure medication, very low dosage. And I already had always made the decision that I was coming off of that medication because it wasn't needed. I didn't see where I needed that medication. And I can share with you, right? I can give you advance notice and tell you before I put out the videos that when I started to, and I might have shared a little bit during the week, when I was out in my yard working, putting mulch out in the yard, my blood pressure was low because I was monitoring my blood pressure on some days and I saw where it had dropped. And it was because of the juice, right? And because of the exercise. So it just dropped. And when I say drop, it was like in normal range. And it was so normal that it was like hovering around in the low 100s to about 67. And so I saw that. And so I continued to still take my medication, right? However, what happened when I went out in the yard on that it's Friday I was doing mulch. It was Friday I was doing mulch. And when I went out in the yard, and again, I already walked my 2 miles, right? But when I put this mulch out in the yard, it's had like 10 bags, and I used 8 bags of it. I started to feel lightheaded at times. And I thought I just overexerted myself. Well, when I went and washed my car on Saturday, I felt lightheaded again. And what was the common denominator? My blood pressure was low, and I was experiencing lightheadedness for the simple reason that I shouldn't have been taking medication on those days because that lowered my blood pressure to an extreme, right? When I say extreme, it wasn't out of range where it was unhealthy at that moment, but it was something to recognize. So I would just denote that during this challenge, if you're on any type of blood thinners or blood pressure medication or whatever, you definitely want to monitor your pressure because if you're exercising and juicing at the same time, more than likely you're going to see your blood pressure lower. So I hadn't checked it quite yet on this morning, but I feel great. And I hadn't taken medication yesterday, and I ain't taking the medication today yet. I'm going to check my pressure before I even take it. Now, what I plan to do, even though the juice cleanse ends today, I'm going to still be drinking juice, just not on a frequent basis. It'll be like 3 times a week. But for this particular week only, probably I may continue to drink it daily, just not on a consistent basis, because today I'm going to introduce fruit only back into my body, right? It has to be a slow process. So today is fruit only, and that's going to consist of watermelon, cantaloupes, and some grapes. That's what I want, and that's what I'm going to eat today and tomorrow. And after tomorrow, that's when I'll wean some vegetables, like soft vegetables, back into my body, right? And then after tomorrow, I'll start to aim for some more not so soft vegetables and some other fruits and into that back in my body. And then maybe day 6, day 7, I'll start to look at things like potatoes, right? And let that re-enter back into my body. Now, notice that you didn't hear me talk about meat yet. And during this time, I'm going to experiment with just going completely vegan, right? And when I say experiment, I'm not calling myself a vegan yet, right? That's not what I'm doing. I'm experimenting because what I noticed again, if I went 14 days with just fruits and vegetables juice only, and I had energy, I want to experiment with eating that food and put it in my body and see how I do. Because I did experiment with being, I guess we can call it quote unquote, somewhat vegan it was starting December 1999, and it went up until like February or March of 2000. Excuse me, I said 1999. December 2019 is when I started to experiment with veganism, and it ended like February or March of 2020. Get my dates mixed up, guys. And of course, 2020 was when the pandemic went full blown. And during that time, I was just like, look, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, let me just prepare my body, eat as much as I can, because I don't know how long we're going to be locked down and stuck. So I kind of got off of, the being vegan at that point, experiment with veganism. But fast forward, I want to experiment again and see how it goes. And and I'll let you know how that goes. But right now, I don't plan to put meat in my body just quite yet. I'll see how it goes after a couple of weeks of experience in veganism. One thing I will say, back from the 2019, 2020, the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020 range, I wasn't sure what I was doing with regards to how to be vegan. I got to be completely honest with you. I was clueless. I had no idea what I was doing. So this time I was able to, while I was on a 14-day juice cleanse, I watched a lot of YouTube channels where people are vegan, and I watched a lot of their recipes, watched a lot of their food, and it brought a lot of curiosity. So I went out to Whole Foods on Saturday, picked a few items up, went to other grocery store to pick up some other items, and I plan to experiment and see how it goes. Now today, I got to do a cookout for my son, and I'll be cooking meats. He wants some meats for him and his friends. I'll do the cookout, and I'm going to put him on the grill and have him experiment, get him ready for grill prep, right? Get him ready for that. And, they're going to eat the meat, and I'm just going to sit there and watch. What I wanted to do is put me some grilled vegetables on there, but the body is not quite ready for that yet. And I'm not going to experiment and take any chances. I'm just going to do what I researched. And what I researched was start with the fruits. Then after a couple of days, work the vegetables in. That's what the research told me. So I got the 14-day juice cleanse from Holistic Honey. But in terms of what to do during and after, that came from research. So there are certain things you want to do during juicing, and there are certain things you want to do after juicing. And that's going to be key and important to the success of your health if you want to try juicing. So I'll just give you the heads up on that. But other than that, family, I'm not going to be on here long today. I got about, let's see, 0.6. I'm waiting for it to come back up. My treadmill numbers are moving across. I got about 0.62 miles left, almost half mile. And I'm going to continue to walk this out. But I hope that you have a wonderful Memorial Day on today. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And I'll be talking with you soon. But this is bye for now. Keep walking, keep pressing forward, and we'll be talking soon. Bye, family.